So are we like re-recording or are we doubling tracks?
We are going to add, here's what we need. We really need two things that we don't have.
Okay.
One is just big, bland chord pads from the beginning to the end. Just simple diamond strum kind of things, just filling in sound.
Cool.
Two is I want to try to double the melody that the keys are playing in the hook with guitar. So those are kind of our two big goals right now.
Cool.
And we'll probably get doubles on all of that.
Okay. Because I was just saying, because I'm using a different guitar, so it's not going to sound exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So that's going to work out good if we're doubling, just not re-recording.
Yeah, that's awesome, yeah.
Because then we get the Strat sound and then this sound,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Cool. Can you do me one quick favor?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bring this over here so we can look at the Kemper for a second.
Let's do it.
Plug on that.
Are you guys doing like a live thing?
It's not live.
You just have to edit it and all that stuff?
I'm not really going to edit it.
Just let it go.
I'm going to
Yeah.
put it up as it is. Okay, so first of all, this mountain of a man is Montana. Montana, what's your last name?
McGee.
McGee. Montana McGee.
Magoo.
Metal Montana McGee.
Metal
Okay.
Montana Mountain McGee. His middle name's Mountain.
Metal Montana Mountain McGee.
It's not a joke.
This
Yeah.
is Brent. Your middle name is actually Mountain?
Yeah.
So tell me about your parents. No, don't do that.
Good idea.
Brendan, TJ. All right. So Montana, you've got this device here, and I'm going to zoom in on the device. Your face is no longer in frame, so don't worry about that.
But you took a shower this morning.
That's the whole point.
Tell me what this thing is.
This amp is probably one of the newest pieces of technology that's out in the musical world. It's called a profiler, and what it does is you can hook a mic up to whatever amp that you like the sound of, whether you're at like a guitar store or at a studio and you can't get that, like you can't buy that amp, right? So you hook a microphone up to it, and this takes a digital footprint of that amp and replicates the sound within 3% of the tone.
Okay, so right now you've plugged your guitar into this,
Yep.
but we're actually plugging this, the Kemper, the profiler, into a cabinet.
Yep.
But that's not necessarily how this has to work,
No,
right?
It can run direct.
So when you say it can run direct, will you just quickly explain first of all, you are not speaking on behalf of your place of employment.
Correct.
Just tell me what do you mean it can run direct?
So in a live setting, if you were playing at a venue, you'd be able to run straight to the mixing board and run only through the PA if you'd like to. So then front of house guy just mixes you into the full mix, and you just go from there.
So are you using the profile of some certain amplifier right now?
For what we're recording with, I'm profiling I'm pretty sure it's an AC30.
And is that
Vox.
is that a profile that came preloaded on this thing, or is that something you captured yourself?
It's so I am subscribed to a company called Tone Crate,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy goes around, finds the best musicians, finds the best gear, and then samples it, and then sells it to everybody. So I'm using a mix of what he did versus a cab that I put with it, and then a bunch of EQ and stuff like that.
Okay, and in just a second we will mic that up and actually listen to what it sounds like. But I'd also like to go ahead and grab the direct feed from it. So is there just an XLR output on the back of that? Is that
Sure
what
is.
we're going to grab?
Yep.
Okay, then that's what we will do.
Sounds good.
Easy way to get out of alcoholism.
Make a little noise for me. Okay. So can you increase the level you're sending to me? Is that possible?
Sure. Yep.
Just keep bringing it up until I tell you when. If you got a little more, I'll take a little more.
All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that is just direct out of the box.
That's right.
Okay. Now you said this is a profile of an AC30,
Yep.
but clearly there's a lot more drive going on there than an AC30 has. Tell us about the rest of your signal chain.
All I have is a boost, just a clean boost, and I have the gain up at noon.
Oh, so really it is pretty much just the amp circuit.
And I got a little bit of a delay and reverb, and just a EQ to bring up the highs just a little bit more.
And does the Kemper have, I mean, is there any actual tube circuitry in there, or is it's purely a digital modeler?
Yep.
Okay, amazing.
Yep. Pretty
Amazing.
cool. And I can get literally any amp that I want.
I think that's pretty incredible.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you two want to come with me and we'll pick out some microphones real quick?
Let's do it, yeah.
All right, you can stay here and warm up or whatever you need to do.
Sweet.
All right, so
I like this.
It's a Note 8. Multi.
Multi. You looked at me like, ew.
Get away from me.
Every time I cough, I've just been saying, Corona! People are like,
you know, if your goal is to get people to leave you alone,
Oh yeah.
you will succeed.
that's right.
Also, I have a whole set of I should do a tutorial on how to get people to leave you alone because it's my strong suit.
I feel like that's
It's my
strong suit,
superpower.
too.
But if you just randomly talk enough about music theory, people will leave you alone. People will,
Especially at a bar.
or a party, you know, yeah.
Now just remember, it's called theory for a reason.
It's not music practice, man.
Right.
Yeah. How funny.
I forget who it was that said it, but there was like a rocket scientist, an instructor, right? And he's like, well, you guys have it easy. It's not like it's music theory.
That's good.
Am I in frame here? Yeah, definitely. Okay, give me just a second to explain what I'm going to do here. All right, so we've talked about the head, the amplifier head over here, which in this case is this odd profiler, this unique thing. That is connected to this, which is our cabinet. The cabinet is just a box that holds the speakers, more or less. In this particular cabinet, are there two speakers or one? There's two speakers, two 12s, okay, and they're the same type of speaker, I imagine, which is
turbo sounds.
pretty common that they would be the same type of speaker. I'm going to shine a light into the cloth here so I can see the way they're positioned. Sometimes you might just assume that they're centered in the cabinet, and they're usually not, actually. And in this case, the top speaker here is a little off to this side. And let's see if it is. In fact, both speakers are just a little further to my left over here than center. Something to understand about this is the center of the speaker, which in this case, the very center of the speaker cone is right here, is going to give us the most high frequency. If you're playing a distorted tone, it's going to give the most grit of the distortion. It's going to bring that out. The very edge of the speaker, which in this case is right here, the surround that is holding the speaker to the basket, is going to give you a lot of low frequency. If you're, it's going to be a darker, more covered tone, right? If you only have one microphone on the speaker cabinet, and by the way, even though there are two speakers in this cabinet, we're only going to be miking one of those speakers, primarily just for simplicity, but also because they're the same speaker. We don't want to worry unnecessarily about the phase coherence between the two microphones on the two speakers and so on and so forth. I'll probably end up putting two mics on this one speaker, but we're going to position them in such a way that the phase relationship will be a little less important to us. But if you only have one microphone on the speaker, it's going to be your job to find the blend of the high frequency in the center and the low frequency on the edge that you're looking for, and that's going to change depending on the speaker itself, depending on the tone of the guitar, and the amplifier, depending on what role you want this part to play in your arrangement. All of those things are going to change where you might want to position the microphone on the speaker itself. When it comes to distance, of course, the closer the microphone gets to the speaker, the more direct sound you're going to get. The further you position the microphone from the speaker, the more reflection you're going to get, the more indirect sound that you will get. So generally, if you only have one microphone, it's pretty common actually that we put it right up, almost touching the cloth of the speaker here. If you have two microphones, well, we're going to talk about that if we put up a second microphone here in a second. But for now, let's choose which speaker we're going to use. And we'll use this bottom speaker. And we will begin with the mic just off center. The next thing that we could worry about is whether the microphone is on axis or off axis. On axis just means that the diaphragm of the mic is parallel to the speaker. Off axis would look something like this. It means the diaphragm of the microphone is not parallel to the speaker. You're going to get a little bit more of a covered tone the more off axis this becomes. We're using a dynamic microphone. We're using the SM57 right now. We're going to listen to that and probably stick with it, but we'll find out. The more off-axis we position this microphone, the more of a covered tone we're going to get. Because dynamic microphones are less sensitive, because they have a lower output, we're able to get them closer to the speaker. Dynamic microphones also have a higher maximum input SPL, so we don't have to worry about overloading the mic itself. We still have to worry about overloading the preamp that the microphone is plugged into, but because the output is generally lower, it's a little bit less of a concern. All right. So we're just going to start slightly off center. We're going to start about 1 inch away from the grill cloth here. And just with this one microphone. And we'll dial that signal up and we'll compare the mic'd cabinet to the direct tone coming straight out of the profiler. And like I said, all of the things that are going to change between the profiler and the speaker, you've got the microphone itself is going to have some impact on the sound. The way the microphone is positioned is going to have some impact on the sound, the type of speaker, and even like the construction and the materials used to build the cabinet will all change the signal in either a positive or negative way. So we're going to kind of compare back and forth these two signals. Let's get to that. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So, in Montana, in just a second, I'll have you do that again. We're going to start listening to the, kind of interesting what we're doing here, but we've got the output of the console actually running to the inputs of this.
Oh, cool.
Now, every time I hit play, it's muting the mics.
Oh, that's cool.
But while we're just listening like this, I'm going to have to manually remember to mute the mics so that they're not picking up sound coming out of the speaker.
Do you want me to sit over there?
No, I think I got it. But in just a second here, I'm going to have you play, and what we will hear is first the sound coming direct out of the Kemper into Pro Tools, and then I'll pull that fader down and pull up the fader that is the sound of the mic running into Pro Tools. So coming out of the Kemper into the cabinet, coming out of the cabinet into the mic, and going from there into Pro Tools. And what you should hear is some tonal difference that is happening between these two things. All right, so I'm going to mute our mics here. One.
Jackson.
And it is possible that we could blend these two signals as well, so why don't we go ahead and see what a blend sounds like between these two. Give us some of that. I didn't have the microphones unmuted when I said that.
Damn.
Nice.
It's going to take me a couple times to get this right. I am going to move our microphone just a little bit off center and get a little bit more of the, hopefully more of the body of the signal. Let's try that.
I know, me too.
I moved our microphone about 2 inches further off the center of a 12-inch speaker here. And go ahead and phase coherence, check the phase between these, play just a little bit. Yeah, and our phase relationship is good between the two. It got worse when I flipped the polarity of one of those microphones, so that's
cool.
That's a good thing. I do think I went a little bit too far. I'm going to move that mic just a little, and not maybe an inch back towards where it was. Last time, let's hear this. Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool. All right. So, the first thing that I think we want to grab is the keys melody that you're playing in the intro and turnaround. So let's listen to what the keys play in the intro and turnaround.
So you want me to play the exact same thing?
I mean, he's playing sort of a polyphonic thing, and I just want a melody lines, just kind of the top line of it. But let's listen to what's there. And what we got last time, what we got when we were at SoundMind, was basically you had your melody and he had his. And
kind of clashed.
Yeah, well, even if it didn't clash, it was just distraction. You know what I mean? So hopefully we can sort of pick and choose where these things happen and come up with a more cohesive idea on this. Let's listen to what we've got.
Okay.
On the keys melody here.
It's like there.
Here we go. Let's try it again. Ooh, that was an interesting little pinch harmonic. Yeah. All right. You want? Yeah. I'll go ahead and put it in record. Let's do that.
All right. So single coil or humbucker. So single coil. It's a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, that has more of a.
Let's hear it in the track.
Okay.
Give us single coil first.
Single coil
Yeah.
first.
Mm-hmm.
First.
Let's hear it on humbucker.
You got it.
I feel like the humbucker's got that typical 80s sound where like it pierces through.
Is this
It's
a good
definitely
thing?
piercing
I
through.
think I want to take this back a little.
Alright, cool.
Ooh, tell us what you're taking back a little.
Treble.
Ah, okay.
So it's not so piercing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe even a little presence.
Yeah,
Just a little. Like 0.3 back.
Point
Let's try it.
3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
originally when you first said single coil, I was like, yeah, let's get that Fender sound. And
Right.
then it's like,
well, that would be here. So
yeah, exactly.
let's
but-
try this one. This is a different one. I
Oh,
didn't try this
dope.
one yet. I have like a whole bunch of different sounds with this. A little bit more mellow. I gotta get that part. Pause there real quick. Yeah. Like that?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And I like the staccato notes you're doing. They're going, gang, gang, get it, down, and it's, yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I
Chris.
like that tone.
Yeah, I think that tone's
Cool.
cool.
I like that tone.
So that's cutting the neck in half to be single coil.
That's good.
That's really cool.
I think it's not so dominant, but it has a nice body to
Got
it
like a
that
nice
it
warmth to
fits
it.
in
Yeah.
better in
Nice
the
quick.
mix with that.
Nice coil cut.
You know what else has a nice body to it?
Jason
Montana Mountain McGee.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Thick.
Cut the neck in half.
All right, well let's grab this then. Let's make
do it.
this our sound. It's okay. Yeah. Here we go.
This is brand new.
Yeah, just
I have
get
to.
lower and lower.
Can you hold the last note just a hair longer first, and then go ahead?
So, stupid idea. It might not work.
Oh, I love these.
I know, right? They're the best. So when you go dun, 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 on that high, what is that? Is it just a B or something?
This one?
That one, yeah. What is that? What note is that?
That's B.
It's B. What if it's like just on the second time around, you create like a not a squeal, but like something like
So like you want that's not a good one to do right there.
But yeah, I mean, this is never mind.
You can do it on that.
That that might work. Yeah.
A little bit of
A little bit of flair to it. A little.
Yeah, on the second time around, like do the first time just normal, and the
Yep.
second time,
we'll see what happens.
but
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
At least we have your approval.
Give my blessing.
That's,
Yeah.
that's what matters.
yeah.
Let's grab it. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I mean,
I want to do it again.
yeah, okay,
Understood.
yeah.
But
So yeah,
that's-
I'm just like something, just a little, yeah.
Just a little.
Just a little garnish.
And if
But-
we decide we don't like it
least-
later, the first half, we just
Exactly.
copy it over. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
Here we go.
More than that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Later we could do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's good.
Especially on the outro and stuff.
Because
can
like
go
you gotta
crazy.
think like when you put in the CD, you know what I mean. You just want to get it in the first.
Right,
CD.
right. It needs to be
Yeah.
embedded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
don't show off
And
yet.
then it builds up at the end. Yeah.
That had a nice attitude to it too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
good,
was really cool.
That's like some downtown Bronx type of shit. I like that.
Downtown Bronx. All right.
You know, when I think of this song, I think
Downtown.
downtown Bronx. Let's get it in the turnaround then. We've got a first turnaround coming up here.
Same thing.
Exact same thing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Okay,
Right there. Sorry, I should have told you. That's where we are.
That's
No,
okay.
you're out of the band.
Show me the move.
Let's
We gotta
listen
do
to
that
it.
slide with that bass slide.
I was gonna say,
Yep.
and let's just listen to make sure. But everything felt pretty good in there.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad all those hours of recording at home is finally paying off.
Listening one more time. There might just be something at the beginning of the second half that we should. Can we just get this most of the second half? Can we just punch in for most of the second half, and I'll get you out before that cool little harmonic.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. So where do you want to start?
Play along. Just play
Just
along,
play
and
along?
I'll get you in and out.
Okay. Good.
That's good with me. Good with
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Sounds
That's
really
cool.
good.
Nice, cool, man.
Where does that happen somewhere else?
No more.
No more.
No more.
No
Here,
more.
will you just play that back and keep my guitar on real quick?
Yeah,
Like, not record,
absolutely.
but I just want to try something.
Sure.
I like that. I like what you just said.
Yeah, I like the idea though. Let's do that. Let's
Yeah.
double it with an octave.
Dope.
Okay.
So hold on, let me figure it out. Cool. That was easy.
Yeah. That's why you're the mountain man,
That's
bro.
right.
The mountain man.
Spent years in the mountain learning his craft.
That's right. Sound wizard.
Get you a
I
hat.
forget who called me that, but it just like kind of stuck.
I've heard you talk about that. I
Yeah.
can't remember who it was.
Sound wizard.
Um,
Hold on just
And I
a
think we
second.
should only put that in the second
yeah.
part.
So we add something to that afterwards. Yeah.
So like when I write death metal, I'm in a genre called technical death metal, where it's not just you know, there's actual music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of thought, a lot of, you know, this harmony matches with this
A
harmony.
lot of theory.
Yeah. It's very well put together. So every other riff that I do has something different to
That's
keep
good.
the listener interested instead of just the same riff over
Right.
and over. You know, it's cool.
That is sorely lacking from pop music.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the variation. All right, let's do this.
All right, octave time.
Octave time.
Just bust out singing.
All right, here we go.
Really good.
Hey everybody, Scott Velasco here. So, different day, different world. I hope you're well. Use hand sanitizer. That video you just watched with Montana playing the guitar melody, we have now taken that signal direct out of his Kemper, and I am going to send it to this amplifier on a very clean amp setting, And we are going to put 5 different microphones, one at a time, in exactly the same position on this amp. So it will always be an identical performance. We are just re-amping that Kemper signal through this. And I will let you compare the tonal characteristics of these 5 microphones. The first mic up is the SM57, and I'll show you how it's positioned. What we have here is the microphone positioned about 1 inch off of the grill cloth. It is on one speaker, about an inch off center, and on axis. Next up is the Royer R121. You'll notice this is a ribbon mic, and we have it positioned as a side address microphone. When you look at the Royer, you might think that you're supposed to talk into the front of it or make noise into the front of it, but it is a side address microphone. It's positioned identically to the way the SM57 was positioned. If this amp volume were louder, I would suggest keeping the microphone further away. I believe Royer recommends at least a hand's width away from the mic. But since we have the amplifier on such a moderate volume, I'm going to go ahead and position it identically to the way we had the SM57 positioned. Next up is the AKG 414. Because this is a condenser mic, it's going to require that I adjust the gain at the preamp. It's going to have a much stronger output than the dynamic and the ribbon mic had. It is in the cardioid position. It is at no pad and no filter right now. Next up is a tube condenser microphone. This is the Bach 251, which is a copy of the famous Telefunken ELA M251. And our final offering, the Sennheiser Dynamic MD421. This is presented with the filter off.